Welcome to Speak Korean in 100 Hours. You don't need a textbook, you don't need to memorize anything. You'll speak Korean in 100 hours. Guaranteed. You'll repeat almost 5,000 phrases and sentences over 30 times each. To speak a language, you need to speak sentences rather than memorizing vocabularies. With this revolutionary self-teaching method, you'll naturally speak Korean before you know it. In most language programs, teachers speak the most. In our program, you'll be the one who speaks and will be able to express 100% of what you learned. We don't have to be young. We don't have to be smart. We can speak Korean in 100 hours. Let's see how we can actually speak the same sentences over 30 times and almost 100 times. Each lesson consists of 40 minutes of original lesson and 20 minutes of review of the previous lesson. Every 3 lessons, you'll have another review of the previous 3 lessons, meaning you repeat the same sentence at least 30 times if you follow the system correctly. Each sentence will have a slide like this with Korean and English explanations. The first line is a Korean sentence that you will learn. The second line is the Korean sentence with spaces that separate words because Korean sentences are made of particles and postpositions that follow words rather than standalone individual words like English. The third line has English words under each Korean word directly translated word by word. The fourth line is fully translated English sentence. Last but not least, you'll see some basic grammar explained at the bottom, which will often have cultural explanations as well. Here's a sample slide. The first line Korean sentence, 이름이 뭐예요? The second line has the Korean sentence with spaces separating words and particles. The third line with English words under respective Korean words. The fourth line is a fully translated English sentence, what is your name? And at the bottom, the sentence structure is explained and the 4 particles 은, 는, 이가 that indicate the subject. The Korean sentence 이름이 뭐예요? Will be narrated 6 times, during which the first couple of times you'll read through the screen trying to learn the pronunciation and understand the sentence structure and grammar. Starting from the 3rd or 4th time, you'll repeat it even when the narrator speaks, which will help you repeat 6 to 8 times initially. You won't be able to understand or repeat after the narrator in the beginning. At first, you can lower the speed, but try to keep the normal speed as soon as you can. By the time you finish 10 lessons or so, you'll feel much more comfortable to repeat along. This is the same slide with Korean pronunciation written in English alphabet under the first Korean sentence, 이름이 뭐예요? In the first hour or so, you'll have English phonetics under the Korean sentence, but try to read Korean alphabets yourself instead of relying on the English phonetics. For those of you who want to learn Korean alphabets quickly, there's a link on this channel that helps you read Korean in 10 minutes. After the Korean sentence narrated 6 times, you'll see only the full English sentence on the screen narrated once. Like this. What is your name? This is to give you a chance to remember the Korean sentence without seeing it. We tend to remember better and longer when we take a test. Especially if you get it wrong, you'll remember it longer. So try to remember the Korean sentence you repeated earlier and repeat 2 times while the narrator speaks the English sentence. After repeating 2 times with the English sentence, you'll see the previous screen again and find out if you're correct. You'll hear the narration 3 times so that you can repeat another 6 times. Here's how you can repeat over 30 times of 5,000 phrases and sentences. During the first lesson, you repeat 14 to 16 times. During the first and second reviews, you'll repeat 10 times each. After a while, when you get comfortable with Korean, you might even want to skip the original lesson and go directly to review, saying it's too easy. Also, in any language, common expressions come up over and over. So you'll end up repeating similar expressions over 100 times. For those of you who can't do an hour lessons, We also have 30-minute lessons, which will allow you to repeat 4 times during the 3-time narration and 2 repetitions during the English narration and another 2 repetitions during the last Korean narration, amounting to 8 repetitions during the original lesson. During the first and second reviews, you'll hear 3 narrations and repeat 6 times. With almost 50 repetitions with overlap, you'll speak Korean in 50 hours. But if you find it too strenuous, you can always come back to an hour lessons. For those of you who can't do half-hour lessons or prefer short lessons, we also have individual lessons. The 20-minute lessons and 10-minute lessons, they're also thematic lessons that will allow you to learn Korean alphabet in 10 minutes or Korean sentences in 10 minutes, etc. Repetition is so powerful that you'll surprise yourself by speaking this long sentence in the first lesson. In the first lesson, can you imagine? This will never happen if you learn the conventional way. Who says Korean is a difficult language? With this self-teaching method, you can speak Korean in 100 hours. Guaranteed. But repetition isn't everything. You can't speak a language in 100 hours unless you learn it with a system. You need to understand the basic structure of the language on top of naturalizing it in your mouth and in your mind. This 100-hour program is structured so that you learn basic grammar and structure in the beginning, and then K-drama and K-pop songs afterwards. They'll help you learn expressions used in different situations and speak Korean like a native. K-drama and K-pop songs will keep your learning all the more interesting too. Most people give up in the middle because they don't feel they're advancing or because learning isn't interesting enough. If you follow this 100-hour self-teaching program, you won't give up. A language is a means to communicate our thoughts and emotions. To communicate, our pronunciation has to be understandable, which is why we ask you to listen to the narrators and repeat after them. Please pay attention to your own pronunciation and try to correct yourself. In the beginning, it helps to record yourself and compare it with narrators on this channel or actors on K-drama who speak standard Korean. The definition of standard Korean is the Korean language spoken by a majority of cultivated people in Seoul. By definition, it's an evolving and changing language with exceptions in pronunciation and grammar. So don't get discouraged if you don't understand everything because a lot of Koreans probably don't know the answer either. Never get discouraged until you finish the full 100-hour lessons. It's normal that you can't even repeat after the narrator, you can't remember the sentence you just learned, or you don't understand anything. After a few hour lessons, you'll slowly find yourself immersed and comfortable in Korean. I'm telling you, we don't have to be young. We don't have to be smart. We can speak Korean in 100 hours. Children start speaking after hearing same words over hundreds of times. I know of someone who didn't know a word of Spanish but learned 5 sentences a day for his work. Within a year, he spoke fluent Spanish. He probably learned less than 1,000 sentences, and yet he spoke fluently. In most languages, if you know 1,000 sentences, you can speak it. We'll learn almost 5,000 sentences, so you're guaranteed to speak Korean after these 100-hour lessons. As an adult, if you can change your oral and mental structure and speak Korean in 100 hours, it'll be a dramatic success. If your mouth doesn't hurt or if you're not hungry after an hour lesson, it's a sign you're cheating. If you constantly repeat after the narrator for an hour, you're bound to be hungry and your jaw should hurt, okay? One thing I must tell you, this 100-hour program isn't intended to teach Korean grammar. This program is designed for you to speak Korean in the most fun and efficient way, so you might find some errors or discrepancies in the lesson. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you like this self-teaching 100-hour program, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends.